Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, just so you know, this channel, what we're doing here and what I try to focus on here is our self-sufficient farm lifestyle. So we talk about hunting, we do fishing, just general farm activities as well. We do trapping, gardening. Obviously you can see behind me here what I've got now are some potatoes. This video today is going to be about potatoes. What I'd ask though is if you go in there and you hit that like and subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this video and any of the others that you may have watched. And you know, I really appreciate that. You know, your feedback is really important to me, letting me know, you know, how you feel about the direction that the channel is going. If there's something that you're interested in seeing, then we can try to incorporate that into a future video. Anyway, rolling on in for today. What we're doing today is potato planting time. And what I've got behind me here are some of the leftover potatoes that we had from our August harvest. And so what we've got, we had some white Kennebec potatoes, and we kept them stored in our encapsulated crawl space below our house. And we ate on potatoes. So this is, today's April 1st actually. And so we ate on our own potatoes from August all the way through to now. And they're all starting to sprout, and we're going to plant these today. So I've got some white Kennebec potatoes. And then I've also got some pink colored, they started out several years ago as Pontiacs, and then they hybridized over the years with the Kennebecs, and now they basically are a pink fleshed Kennebec type potato. They produce great big potatoes, they have a wonderful flavor, and we plant a bunch of these now every year. So what we're going to do, we're going to go plant these here in a little bit. Before we go to the garden and start planting, I want to talk a little bit about the potatoes and what we did to prepare them. Basically, we did nothing for the most part. They just stayed in the crawl space, and you know, as potatoes do, they begin to sprout. Now we still eat a lot of them that have these sprouts on them. We just go through, we break the sprouts off. If the potato still has quite a bit of firmness to it, you can still eat it. Just because it's sprouted does not mean you cannot eat it. But what we're going to do today is a lot of the wind's picking up and the tin is kind of flapping over on the neighbor's house. Some of these smaller potatoes, we're just going to plant them whole. Instead of cutting them up, we're just going to plant these whole. If you have a larger potato, so this was a pretty good sized potato, what I did is I cut it in half, and the intent is to get at least one eye or sprout on each one of these chunks. So you go through here and you'll look, as I chunk these all up, each one of them has an eye coming off of it. I cut these up yesterday. I left them sitting out overnight, and that allowed this exposed flesh part to kind of harden off. And that's important too, because when you go in, if you just cut it and throw it in the ground, it tends to make it a little more susceptible to bugs and disease. Whereas if you cut it, let it set out in the open in the air, it'll harden off. And I don't know if it works or not. That's just what I was always told. That's what all the neighbors did. That's what I was taught growing up. It may just be something that people were always told to do, so we do it. I can't say that I've actually tried two rows side by side to see if there is a difference or not. But anyway, that's just how I do it. We're going to get these loaded up. I've got probably this many more seed potatoes in my crawl space that I've given away, that I'm planning on giving away to neighbors and friends and family that are putting out potatoes this year, because we just had so many left over. I think we harvested about 350 pounds of potatoes back in August, and we ate the vast majority of those. But as you can see, I'm still covered up in potatoes, seed potatoes, that I need to do something with. Anyway, when you see us next, we're going to be over in the garden getting things ready to start planting potatoes. See you there. Hey, Jackie.
Hey. think 5 rows is more than enough. How many we have last year?
We had 4 rows down here, and he had 1 row up there.
And then
I never seen a hole like that before.
Well, this was Dad's. I'll take it and I'll go over here and finish those. This was Dad got a little upset when I took that hoe. I forget whose, because see, it was painted green.
Yeah.
And I forget whose he said it was.
Yeah.
Because I went and borrowed it. He's like, I'm looking for my good hoe. And I'm like, all right, we got the potatoes in now. I didn't really give you a play-by-play of what was going on because we were trying to make the most of our time. The neighbor was over here laying off the rows for us with his tractor and plow, so there was a lot of kind of background noise with the tractor. And we were kind of on a timeline here trying to get things done. Anyway, what we've got down here is we put out 5 rows. I think these rows are, these were 80 feet long, if I remember correctly from last year when I measured. So we put out 5 rows here. He laid out in another garden, another row over there that's about 100 feet long. And then he went to a third garden and he's laying out a row there that's between 80 and 90 feet long as well. So I said we weren't going to put out as many as we had out last year, and it appears that I lied, because we had just so many seed potatoes that we got to do something with them, and just, you know, don't want to see them go to waste. But also this year, you know, with the economy the way it is and produce going up, inflation, cost of living, everything going through the roof, it's probably better to be safe and have more than you think you're going to need. I mean, we can always, like we do with so many other things, take it to market to sell. So it's probably safer to have more than we think we're going to need. And we probably put out 35 or 40% more than we will probably need. But that's okay in today's current climate, and not climate as in environment climate, but economic climate and everything else that's going on. It's probably safe to have it. Anyway, what we've got out here is we put out 2 rows of the neighbor, the man on this tractor, been my neighbor. He's a distant cousin, been my neighbor for my whole life. He bought some potatoes, seed potatoes. He didn't realize we had 80 pounds of seed potatoes, so he went ahead and bought Kennebec seed potatoes. So we put out 2 rows of the Kennebec seed potatoes he bought. We put out 2 rows of the pink Pontiac hybrid potatoes, and then we put out another row of our Kennebecs, and then the other 2 rows we're going to put out that he's laying off right now, those are also going to be Kennebec potatoes, I think. My dad's going to plant those. I just got off the phone with him, and he's got some things in mind that he wants to do there, so I'm not going to mess with those for now. Let him come home from work and let him figure out what he's going to do. But anyway, this is the potato garden, one of the potato gardens. This is the main potato garden. Just so you know, anyone that didn't see it in the video clips, it's hard to tell. When my daughter and when my daughter and my son and I were going through burying those potatoes, we were only covering those potatoes with, you know, about 2 inches of soil for now. And what we're going to do is when they come up and sprout, we're going to come along behind, and we're going to start off using the hoe to just hill the dirt around the potatoes as they're coming up, and then as time progresses and the potatoes get bigger, then we'll be able to use my neighbor's potato. He's got basically a cultivator that he runs down the rows that mounds the dirt up on the sides of the potatoes. So we'll be doing that sort of stuff. Traffic going behind me. Anyway, that's how we do our potatoes. Maybe you learned something, maybe not. If you got any questions about potatoes, if you're new to potatoes, we've done this for several years. We love having homegrown potatoes and everything that goes along with it. Anyway, hope you learned something. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. But I wish you a safe, enjoyable spring. God bless.